Minister Landsbergis, welcome to Australia. Now, a lot of Australians will, I think, be aware of the economic pressure that your country's been under, the dispute over Taiwan and with China applying influence. How does that translate, though, to the average Lithuanian? What suffering or hardship has this economic coercion inflicted on the everyday Lithuanian citizen?
I think that the most effect that we received was from the political sphere, that it caught many politicians and then many of the public unaware, because when the Taiwanese representative office announced their opening, it was in summer. So and China began its pressure on Lithuanian companies. Basically, there were no major voices saying that that they feel this. But when the political battle within the country started heating up, this is when the public also joined in and started feeling. So I would say that it's not extremely practical, but it's quite political.
So you couldn't actually quantify in dollar amounts how much worse off Lithuanian companies or Lithuania collectively as an economy might be right now?
No, our situation is quite different from Australian. We're not that much exposed to China. Our export to China amount to approximately 300 million euros. So you can imagine, I mean, China is somewhat now it's much lower, 20th among our export partners. So the damage is quite limited, but the principle that which China used is quite unique one. Probably you heard that Lithuania was removed as a country from customs systems in China completely.
As you look back on the political pressure that was applied, is there an example of the crudest, most abrupt way in which that was expressed by China, which might have been the penny dropping moment?
Well, I think that that coercion, applying economic pressure on the country proved not as successful at the beginning, and then China ramped up its economic measures. This is when they started making problems for the multinational companies elsewhere that have Lithuanian materials within them. And so in order to turn the companies against Lithuanian government, so that it's not only China would be creating political pressure on Lithuanian government, but also multinational companies, which we consider our friends and our partners in many ways. So that was a new thing, and I think it was a new thing globally because it was never used before.
Where are we at now? That was in the past. With your diplomacy, are you actively looking for concessions now over the Taiwanese representative office? I think there have been reports, widespread reports, about a compromise over the naming and labelling of that post.
We're not changing.
How do you see a resolution, if any?
We're not changing the name. We believe that we adhere to what is called our One China policy. We didn't break any rules or obligations, and therefore we will continue allowing Taiwanese to call their representative office in Vilnius the way they chose to call it. That's a Taiwanese representative office.
And what about in external relations with other countries? Might this become a rallying point to become a net positive as far as financial and other forms of support are concerned? I'm thinking principally about the United States, but also Australia.
One of the reasons why I'm here today in Australia is also not only to reinforce our political ties, which I think we are doing very successfully, but also build new economic ties. I've met with a number of business associations in Melbourne, elsewhere, and we're having a lot of conversations about how can we increase our business connections.
Have you sought or obtained any undertakings from Australia for other forms of external support beyond the opening, somewhat symbolic, but the opening of the trade office?
Oh no, I mean, for us it's not symbolic. Really, I mean, that our points of view might differ, but we consider that a very strong political statement, first of all, but also practical one. We understand that geographically we're very far away, and Australia chooses very cautiously where to open new offices and send their people to. And if Lithuania is a destination, for us, it's a very strong message.
So here's a question that an organ of the Chinese government has put through the Global Times today. Why does Australia risk worsening relations with China for Lithuania? I mean, in your assessment, is there downside risk for Australia in hosting you here and forging closer trade ties, as you've just discussed?
No, I mean, it's, that would be taking things so personally. I think that it's absolutely natural that like-minded countries are finding each other and supporting each other in times when, when they are coerced, pressured, bullied, so what would you expect? Or maybe if you're expecting that the countries would not stick together, then that's a bad expectation. That's not how things work.
And as a country that has witnessed the ferocity of Beijing's blowback, would it be your assessment that some sort of advance, invasion, whatever, by China against Taiwan is inevitable?
We are worried, as probably any other country that has a sentiment to the people of Taiwan. They are worried about China's aggressive acts around Taiwan. Flyovers and all that. So we're monitoring the situation there. We're keeping close contact with the partners in Indo-Pacific, with the United States, in order to really get the feel of what situation is in Taiwan Strait.
Foreign Minister Landsbergis, for your thoughts today. Thanks for joining us on
Thank you so much.
Briefing.